Knitting is the original fidget toy. Do it.
That's really good. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coffee Break episode 6. We've lost Patrick briefly, but he'll be back.
Coming through.
And today we're going to be talking to Patrick and Nickie about their knitting.
Well, I first started getting interested in it when I was in college. I had a teammate who traveled with it. And so every time we would go to a different regatta, she always kind of would like sit somewhere and like knit quietly in the corner. And I was like, gosh, that looks so nice. That looks like so calming in this like chaotic wherever we were. And I thought, hey, one day I'm going to get into that. And so at some point I started talking to my mother about it, and she was like, oh, I used to be a knitter. And I was like, fascinating, say more. And she did, and she finally decided to teach me one day. She brought me all of her needles and some of my grandmother's yarn and taught me the basic stitches. And that was fun.
My mom knitted when I was little. I think I was like 6 or 7 or something. I'd like sit on her lap, and I started with like I'd have my hands on her hands when she was knitting. She would like eventually I had enough of an intention to me how to start knitting. And she's got some of my original first projects that are just the nastiest, worst blankets ever, with like no tension control at all, like long stitches, you know, like the wind blows and you're like, oh yes, the wind's blowing, you know, in my neck it feels it. But I think I started knitting bigger things and getting a little better probably when I was 12 or 13. I guess I'm doing a bedspread for my grandma at this point. I guess.
Bedspread.
I am currently knitting a scarf. And I've actually got another one on separate needles at home. That's kind of like my go-to. Knitting is very much a meditation for me, and so it's really nice. This is what I call my meeting scarf. To keep my fingers occupied when I am actually in meetings. Okay.
I made the precursor to this blanket was a baby blanket I made for. I have a couple of friends, and it's kind of like the first friends that I have from high school that like they had their first child. It was kind of the same. It was a big blanket. It was different colors, but it's got these like braided cables on each side, and just like a pretty simple pattern in between.
My best friend's grandmother, who was also a knitter and also like someone I would consider a grandmother, when she passed away, she had left a blanket on her needles, and my best friend's mom sent me the project and asked me to finish it, and so it's a favorite because it was like connected to Gaia, but it was also fun to kind of like try and figure out what she was doing, because there was no pattern written down or patterns. It was just like, here's the project, here's the rest of the yarn, can you finish this? Yes, I can do this.
Or is it, is there a specific part of the process you really like?
I hate the start. Like rows 1 and 2 of like a blanket are the most embarrassing thing, because you just have this string on a cable that's like, I'm a knitter, guys. You know, nobody's gonna look at that and be like, wow, look at you. You know, it's like literally a single line that's so thin. It's probably where I am now, and then to the end, where I finally have like I've got enough of a body of it built out, and I can really see that like, you know, is this pattern what I was hoping it would be, or is it kind of letting me down in different places? Like, this is where I finally like, oh my god, it's gonna be okay. This is fine. We don't have to reset, because that may be the one thing I hate more than anything else. Like when I have to reset and tear everything out.
Totally agree with you. It is the middle that I love.
Yeah.
When you actually like, you're like, oh look, it's a pattern. Oh look, that's what the yarn's supposed to look like. Oh look, it's like got colors and like different colors, and they're gonna blend into each other. That's amazing. Oh look, that's what it's supposed to look like. and then there's like there's definitely the fixing of the mistakes.
I knit for myself because it's so much work and it takes so long, but I'm like, I'm gonna make this for me. Every so often I'll knit something for someone else, but you two are knit for others.
We have character qualities called compassion.
I also love giving, like, there's a sense of accomplishment anyways, and then you actually get to share that with someone else.
Yeah, just makes more sense. It's an easier motivator for me to if I've got somebody in mind, and maybe that's also part of it. Maybe I like to think about. Yeah, I've been thinking about my grandma a lot while I've been doing this actually.
Tell me about this yarn enthusiasts group chat that I've been hearing rumbles about. There's some grapevine.
There is. I mean, it's nothing more than an email list, and there are easily, I don't know, 20 adults at the school that are on this yarn enthusiast list. We have had at least one meetup. And Tori Force, Miss Force, who's one of the middle school counselors, she actually even has made a Lakeside knitting notion for us.
Wow.
On the Lakeside crest. I'll have to send you a picture of it. Or I'll bring it in. It's like a little stitch marker. But she did it on the laser cutter, and so it's got like a lion and some needles and yarn. And it's like really tiny. I don't know how she did it. She's incredible. Yeah, actually, I was going to use it as a metaphor for like making mistakes and fixing them and going back and fixing them. But it is actually just my meditation. And that's kind of like, I've learned a lot about how I handle mistakes.
Well, thank you both for joining us. This has been Coffee Break. Hope you enjoyed the little drink. We'll see you soon next episode.